Hello and welcome to today's training. We are going to talk all about scheduling. My name is Rachel Cox. I am on the training team here at JMC, and I am also the resources team lead. So I work on a lot of those how-to articles that help walk you through all the different processes in JMC. And I am joined today by Amy. Amy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Rachel. I am Amy Wall. I've been with JMC for about a year and a half now. I am also on the training team, and I am co-lead of the client services specialist team, the people that come and visit your schools. I was a high school counselor, so I have done a lot of scheduling in my day. So I guess I get recruited for these scheduling trainings.
Yes, Amy is our expert today.
Well, a lot of pressure, Rachel, but we'll give it a shot here.
All right, well, today we are starting with the basics. Building an elementary schedule that works for all students and teachers is no easy feat, especially when you factor in courses and sections that are outside of the classroom, like physical education. Luckily, you have JMC to streamline the entire scheduling process. Today, we'll walk through our schedules module where you'll learn how to quickly add courses, place students, and schedule them into the appropriate sections within JMC. From easy course identification to convenient bulk loading, it's designed to help your staff and students thrive. And I just kind of want to note here before we move on, we're talking about building an elementary schedule that works for all students, but the tasks that we're going through today are really the basic tasks in scheduling that are for everybody, not just for elementary schools. By the end of this session, you would be able to walk away knowing what you need to know to build an elementary schedule, and there's a few more steps for high school, but those high schools and middle schools, they need to start with these basics too, and then they move on to some more advanced topics. So we'll start with building your scheduling framework. Verifying your school settings. Establish the foundation for your building's master schedule to create a smooth scheduling process before creating courses and utilizing JMC's powerful scheduling tools. Begin by defining the number of periods in your school day to establish the daily structure, then determine the length of your scheduling cycle based on whether your school follows a traditional 8-period day or a block schedule. Head to File, Administrator Options in JMC Office to establish your school settings. Step 1, select a number from the number of periods in a day drop-down list to define the number of periods in your schedule. Helpful tip, elementary schools reporting AM and PM attendance might select 2 from the number of periods in a day drop-down list, while middle schools and high schools with rotating courses might choose 7 or 8 to account for all the periods that make up a day. Step 2, select a number from the days in cycle drop-down list to define the number of days typical courses will meet. A helpful tip, in a traditional schedule where all courses meet every day, you might select 5 days in the cycle to represent each day of the week. In a block schedule where courses rotate every other day, you might select 2 days in a cycle to represent A and B days. Step 3, enter a letter or number in the day labels field to define the days your courses will meet, such as Monday through Friday for a traditional schedule or A and B for a block schedule. And step 4, enter a name, like for example, study hall here, in the unscheduled period text field to label periods that remain unscheduled on an individual student schedule. And step 5, select the appropriate radio button in the Sort Schedules By box to organize printed student schedules based on the predominant term type used in your master schedule. Step 6, click the Update button at the bottom of the page to save your changes. It's down there a little ways. You'll be able to see it when we get into that live look. So we will take a look right now at verifying your school settings. Okay, so here from our JMC homepage, we're going to come to File, Administrator Options, and here's where we have those school settings, this top box here in the left-hand corner. So number of periods in a day, that's up to you. How many periods do you have in your day? You'd put that in here. Days in a cycle, 5 if you do a traditional Monday through Friday schedule. Put in any text that you want to show up on a student's schedule for periods that are not scheduled into a course, and that's kind of it. One thing to note is that if you are in a K-12 building, say, and if your elementary has a slightly different schedule than your high school, like maybe they're AM, PM, you would want to choose the number of periods in a day that represents the most. So if your high school has 8 periods but elementary only has 2, you would select 8 here. And I think that's about it. Anything I'm missing, Amy?
I don't think so. That's a good point because I know that has come up with our K-12 schools. So just making sure that you are putting the maximum periods that anyone might need. So, and then that sometimes elementaries get a little confused on how to do attendance, but they can work that out, pick a morning period and an afternoon period.
Yeah.
So, yep. And this is just something typically the office probably will do that actually. It might be someone different than who does the scheduling that sets these up, but it never hurts to just go check, make sure that they're set up the way they need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last thing to show you here is that update button that we couldn't see in the screenshot because it is way down there. So any changes you make, you want to make sure you save them. This is not an auto save page. So update my changes and then I'm good to go. All right. Then we will move on to talk about editing teacher information. In JMC Office, seamlessly grant teachers access to JMC Teacher while keeping their data accurate across scheduling and grading reports. Quickly add new teachers or update existing staff details such as usernames, passwords, and email addresses to maintain accurate records amid staffing changes. With up-to-date teacher information, your team will have efficient access to essential JMC Teacher tools. So to update teacher information, head to Attendance, Staff, Teachers in JMC Office. Enter a teacher's name in the Find field to select an existing teacher or click the Add Teacher button to add a new teacher to your database. Helpful tip, need to permanently remove a teacher from your JMC database, you can simply enter their name in the Find field and then you can click Remove the Remove Teacher button, which I think that must be another one of those that's slightly off the page, so we'll take a look at that when we take our live look. Step 2, place a checkmark in the building access checkbox to grant access to the current JMC building or remove the checkmark to revoke access to JMC Teacher without permanently removing the teacher in case they may return at a later date. Step 3, place a checkmark in the conferences checkbox to make that teacher available for conferences in the teacher conference scheduler. Step 4, enter the teacher's name in the display name field to display it on all JMC portals, schedules, progress reports, and report cards. And step 5, add the appropriate information in the last name, former last name, and first name fields to complete your teacher record. Step 6, enter the teacher's username in the designated field. This will be their login for JMC Teacher. Then create a password in the password field to complete their login credentials. And once a teacher account is created in JMC, teachers can manage their own login credentials, like they can reset that password that you've chosen for them. It's just a way for them to get logged in that very first time. Step 7, enter the teacher's email address in the email field to enable report sending, messaging in JMC, and password recovery. Step 8, enter the sort priority number in the appropriate field to organize the teacher numerically in lists throughout JMC. And step 9, review and edit information in additional state-specific fields as needed, including state-issued teacher ID numbers and staff classification identifiers. Then you're going to want to click the Change Photo button to upload a teacher's photo from your computer for easy identification. So when you have those school photos taken, you can put the teacher's photos in there as well. Step 11, enter any notes, comments, or information you'd like to track about the teacher in the notes box, and then click the Update button to save your new teacher's record. Step 13, click the Print button at the top of the page to print or save a PDF of the current teacher's information, or click the Export button to generate a CSV file containing all the teacher's information. Helpful tip, need to reassign all classes taught by the current teacher to a different one. Click the Transfer Sections button to initiate the transfer. So we'll take a live look at editing teacher information. So again, from my JMC home page here, I'm going to go to Attendance, Staff, Teachers. So I can look for a teacher here in the Find field if I want to update an existing teacher, or if I wanted to add a brand new teacher, I just click this Add Teacher button here. This building access, that's important. They won't be able to log in or do anything in JMC without building access, but the rest is pretty self-explanatory. You want to have your display name, your first and last name, a username, email address, and so on. That file folder number, I know in Minnesota, if you're doing that MCCC reporting, that's important to have that file folder number there. But there are different fields that are used for different state-specific types of reporting. So just check to make sure that you have all the information you need for your teacher in those fields. Anything else, Amy?
I don't think so, but I do think I'm going to add a little bit to the building access. I do think that's important, and it does get overlooked. So sometimes we'll have schools contact and say, this teacher can't do this. What's going on? Well, a lot of times it's that they don't have building access.
Yeah.
So just checking that first. It's just another thing to make sure it's marked.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And then we'll look at assigning classroom names and numbers. Setting up the classrooms you intend to use for instruction is a snap in JMC Office. Enter the room name or number, provide capacity limit details, and you're on your way to effectively managing your spaces and avoiding the trouble of double booking a room. Pave the way for fully utilizing scheduling tools like constraints, the scheduling aid, and the room utilization report by editing classrooms in JMC Office. Log into JMC Office and head to attendance, staff, rooms to manage the classrooms you intend to use in each of your buildings. So the first step is to click the edit link next to an existing row or a blank row in order to add a new room. Step 2, enter the room name or number in the room field to associate a name or number with the room in your building. Then you can enter a number in the socially distanced capacity field to define a maximum capacity to a room set up for social distancing. And step 4, enter a number in the room student capacity field to define the maximum student capacity for the classroom. Fun fact, entering a room capacity will enable conflict alerts for courses that exceed capacity during the scheduling process to assist in building a manageable schedule. Step 5, click the update link to save the changes to the room list or the cancel link to discard those changes. And step 6, you can click the print button to print the list of rooms for future reference, or click the export button to export that room list to a CSV file. So we'll take a live look at setting up those room numbers there. Okay, so I'm in the same spot here, attendance, staff, and this time I'm going to click rooms. And you can see I've got some available rows that I could add a room to. I have some rooms assigned, so if I wanted to edit what was there, so maybe here with the gym, maybe it has a student capacity of 50. It's a bigger space, I can fit more kids in there, and I'm going to update that. So you just want to make sure that you have this set up. It helps with avoiding any conflicts in the scheduling process. Amy, do you want to speak any more to that?
Just making sure that those rooms are defined, so then when you create your courses, you'll put room numbers in there. And as you're scheduling, that can, if you're doing the scheduling aid, that can point out that there's a conflict in that room. So the more information that you give your courses, that you give JMC, the more it will make sure that you're not in conflict anywhere.
Yeah, and like we said at the beginning, we're just kind of setting the stage for all that scheduling that we're going to do. We're just making sure that the basics are taken care of so that we can move on and start adding students to courses. In here, we're going to talk about assigning students to homeroom teachers or advisors. Advisors in JMC are teachers who are assigned to students to fulfill a variety of homeroom type teacher roles, such as communicating with families, monitoring student grades, or organizing parent-teacher conferences. In JMC Office, advisees can be assigned to teachers individually on the View Student Data page or in bulk by selecting the teacher and adding students to the selected teacher's roster. Simplify the process of assigning advisees by doing it in bulk on the Attendance, Staff, Assign Advisees page. Step 1, select the homeroom teacher from the advisors drop-down list to begin assigning advisees. Step 2, select a grade level from the grade drop-down list to narrow the range of available students. Fun fact, students who have not yet been assigned to an advisor are listed in the available students list, making it easy to identify the students who still need to be placed into a homeroom. Step 3, click a student's name in the available students list to add them as an advisee for the selected teacher. Helpful tip, accidentally add the wrong student, click the student's name in the advisees list to move them back to the available students list. So that's how you do it in bulk. And now we're going to look at how you can do that one student at a time. So for this method, you would go to the View Student Data page. The first thing you do is enter a student's name in the Find field to select the student who needs an advisor or a second advisor. Step 2, select a teacher from the Advisor 1 and or Advisor 2 drop-down list to assign a primary or secondary advisor to the student. Step 3, click the Save button to update the advisors assigned to the student. Helpful tip, can't find the advisor you're looking for, head to the Attendance, Staff, Teachers page to add a teacher. So the steps we just did before, you'll want to add them so that they can be an advisor. And we'll take a live look here. I think maybe I missed a step. Did I talk about hitting save? I can't remember. I got all excited about having the right teacher, but if you do add that advisor, you want to hit save. Yeah.
That's right. When all else fails, save.
Hit save. All right, so we'll start here Under attendance, staff, assign advisees. So this is a really handy page for elementaries. This is the way that I would do it when we were assigning the students to the particular teacher. So I would choose an advisor here. I'll choose Amy. Amy, what grade are you teaching?
Ninth grade this year.
Ninth grade this year.
No, I better do elementary. I'll do sixth grade, please.
Sixth grade, okay. All right, so here are all of the sixth grade students. So if you're a small school and you have one section like mine was, this was super simple. I would pick the sixth grade teacher, limit it to sixth grade students, and then I can just add all of those students. So I just click and they instantly move over. So I'm giving you all the sixth graders, and there we go. So now on their view student data pages, you will see that they have Miss Bemis, which we have had a name change. So you're not hearing things. We have Mrs. Wall here, but we had Miss Bemis before. We would have to update our teacher page here to reflect that change. So now we have all of our sixth graders here assigned to Amy. And then the other way we can do that is if I go to this view student data page, I could pick I could limit to sixth graders here, and I could kind of flip through all the sixth graders if I wanted to. I could find a specific student. This is great for if you have a student who adds in the middle of the year. You can come in and assign an advisee to them, an advisor to them. Or if you've got like a second teacher, if you have some team teaching type situations, you can add that second advisor. Or even if you have a student teacher in the classroom, sometimes it's nice to put them there as well. So it's pretty simple, but that's an easy way to get those in elementary, those classroom teachers assigned to those students. Anything else, Amy?
No, I was just going to add that I did that process in the high school also because we had advisory time. Each day we had we called it a seminar, but we had groups of students assigned to us. So I would take the ninth graders, and I knew who my ninth grade advisors were, so then I could split them up. And you talked about earlier when you were going through how to do it, I would sometimes realize I still had a student left on the left-hand side. That was telling me I had not assigned them to an advisor yet. So that's a good way to check yourself too, and make sure that all of those kids have an advisor like they should. So that's a good way to see that. But just pulling them up by grade, I think, is the easiest way to do that, and then assign them.
Yeah. Great tip. All right, so now we're going to move into working with courses. So we've kind of set up some of those fundamentals. We're going to move into working with the courses. And Amy, do you mind walking us through this section?
Nope, absolutely not. So we're going to talk about reviewing your course data right now. JMC's course data list is a powerful tool for managing your course catalog, streamlining scheduling, and quickly reviewing course details. It provides everything from a simple course list with names and numbers to a detailed view that includes term, period, and enrollment information. You can display all courses or only those with enrolled students, allowing you to tailor the list to your needs. So when you're reviewing courses, regularly review your course list, helping you to identify unused courses, available course numbers, and duplicates. You can choose between a basic view, just the course names and numbers, or an expanded view with sections, terms, teachers, and more. So you can really narrow down what you want to get there. So your course data list is an essential tool for both building and reviewing schedules, providing essential details for effective course planning. Use the following options to access key scheduling information. So the first thing, course schedule information, that's going to be a list of courses displaying course names and numbers, along with the term, period, enrollment, days, teacher, and additional information. Then you could also look at course scheduling constraints. That's a list of course names and numbers that displays the possible terms and periods each course can be offered based on its established constraints. Course data list provides a quick overview of grading schemes and teacher assignments, eliminating the need to open each course individually. A great overview. Viewing all grading and teacher information at once helps pinpoint courses needing updates or revisions. So course grading information is going to show you each course's weight or credits, the grading scheme, the grading scale, and whether it counts toward the honor roll or appears on report cards. The course teacher info lists each course's terms, periods, and assigned teacher or teachers. JMC offers several ways to export the information found on your course data list. Depending on what you need to view, you can export your course data via the following options. You can print it, a hard copy or a PDF of the course data list you're currently previewing. You could create a course export, a list of your school's course names and numbers, as well as course information like weight, term type, and state reporting details. JMC offers several ways to export the information found on your course data list. Depending on what you need to view, you can export your course data via the following options. So we're just going to talk about more options. Create sections export, a list of each course's sections, including term, period, teacher, room, and state reporting details. And then we have create teacher sections export, a list of course sections along with their assigned teachers. So we'll take a look at reviewing the course data. All right, so we'll go to schedules and course and the course data list. And there we see all the different options of the things we talked about. So I think, Rachel, if we just kind of click through, let's go ahead. A lot of times when you're looking at your course data list at the beginning of scheduling, you're going to do what Rachel just did. You're going to uncheck that, only include courses with students enrolled. If you want to see everything that's in your database, you're not going to see it if there aren't students already enrolled. So we just want to look at this list and see what we have. So the basic course number and name, that's what Rachel's showing right now. We just have our courses kind of set up in there, and we left some spaces in there so you can add some extra courses down the road. We just have it set up by grade level and by teacher for this particular database. Course name and number expanded. So this one, you're going to see a lot more information. And if we look across the top, we've got the term periods, we've got section term, I'm sorry, I'm reading things together. We've got period, bell schedules. There's so much information on here, I can't even read it all. The teacher that's teaching it, the SCED numbers, we don't necessarily have those, talking about reporting and SIF reporting. So almost more information than you could ever possibly need on this report, but it's good to have. Course schedule information, that's a handy one. Let's load in here. That's going to show us each course and then the term that it's offered. It's going to show the enrollment in that, the teacher, the room number. So again, a nice overview in terms of what the scheduling situation is for each of those classes. Okay, course schedule constraints. This one's just showing where, the possible periods. So right there in our elementary classes, we'll talk about this later on. We're just saying that they're all happening first period. We've got one down there that's kind of doing its own thing. I see it should be one. So, but then as you get farther down into the upper level courses or the more advanced courses in high school, you may have just, they could be offered second, fourth, and sixth, so this is just showing you when your classes could take place. It's showing you the days of the week, again, your teachers and your room numbers. Okay, the course grading information. It's going to show you on here when the grad credit begins. We'll talk about these things a little more as we're setting courses up. It talks about the grading schemes, if it's required, just if it's included in the honor roll, just a variety of information in terms of the actual grading processes that go with each course.
Yeah, and this grading scheme is an easy way to check, like, hey, do I have my courses set up the way I want? Are we sending home a report card at each quarter, or do we want to have those SEM grades as well? So this is a really easy way to take a look at the grading schemes across all of your courses without clicking into each course individually.
And then the course teacher information. I feel like this one probably doesn't get used a ton. It shows each of the classes, who's teaching it, first, second semester. Just kind of gives an overview of the teacher information. Not too much information, but just enough to make sure that you've got things set up right. And these lists you can, I'm sorry, Rachel.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say you can sort these lists by course number. You could sort them by name. You can do it ascending or descending, however you prefer to look at them.
Yeah, and I was just going to say for this course teacher info, this page will be more helpful when you're looking at, maybe those high school classes or middle school classes that could have several teachers. It's not really interesting to see, music with Mrs. White is taught by Mrs. White, but when you have just, 7th grade ELA, well, which teachers do we have teaching that?
Right.
So it's maybe a little bit more helpful when you get into those classes that have multiple teachers.
And again, all of these lists are just ways to check to make sure that you've set things up the way you want to set them up before you get too much farther.
Yeah.
It's nice to print out at least that first one, the course name and number. It's kind of nice to just have that sitting next to you as you're working, just so you can kind of make sure you're working through all the courses and taking care of things in a logical, orderly kind of way.
Right. Pull our presentation up. Are you good to keep going, Amy?
Sure. All right, so we'll talk about adding or updating a course. Kind of alluded to some of this information already. In JMC, courses are the foundation of your schedule and provide teachers access to the gradebook and period attendance features. While some middle school and high school courses might require more advanced functionality, basic course setup for all elementary, middle school, and high school courses include a course name, a term type, and other information to begin the scheduling process. So to add new courses or edit existing courses in JMC Office, head to Schedules, Course, Edit Course Data. Step 1, you're going to enter the course name or number in the Find field to select an existing course, or enter an available course number to create a new course. A helpful tip here, if you enter available course in the Find field, you can quickly identify unused course numbers in your database for creating a new course. That is something I did not know than probably my last year of being a counselor. I always was scrolling through those numbers. So you can just start typing available course and it will give you your options. Step 2, enter a name for the new course in the course name field to later identify your course. Scheduling, or a helpful tip here to simplify elementary course scheduling, include the grade level, subject, and teacher in the course name. And we did that on there, such as first reading Smith, first math Smith, first social studies Smith. So it feels a little bit redundant, but it's super helpful. It keeps your courses organized, and you'll see why it's a big help down the road. Step 3, select the appropriate option from the term type drop-down list to set the expected duration of the course. So we have some options here, and sometimes this can be a little bit confusing for people. The yearly semester courses. This is the most common option for courses that are designed to be taken for a full year, but they're separated into 2 semesters. Particularly in high school, I think of like English 1. Students all have to take it for a full year, but they take 2 semesters then. So it's a yearly course. They're taking 2 semesters. So that's kind of how that's set up. Your semester courses are just like they sound, courses that are designed to be taken for 1 semester during the year. So just a 1 semester course. And then we also have quarters, 1 quarter courses that are typically taken in any one of the 4 quarters. So that you think about middle school or high school, maybe exploratory courses, just some that don't last the full semester. I don't feel like quarter courses come up super often, but they are an option. You can do trimesters, 1 trimester courses that are typically taken any one of the 3 trimesters. So again, if a middle school or high school is on a trimester schedule, they might just take that 1 trimester. A HEX, 1 HEX courses are typically taken in any one of 6 terms that bisect a trimester. For example, middle school or high school. Again, that's another option for exploratories. They're maybe taken just a certain number of weeks and then they move on, try something else. Yearly trimester, the most common option for courses that are designed to be taken for a full year separated into 3 trimesters. And then we also have summer, courses that are offered outside of the school year in summer school. The most common choices for basic courses that meet year-round are either yearly semester or yearly trimester. So just a fun fact there, that's typically what they're set up as. Step 4, place a check mark in the report card checkbox over there on the right side to include the selected course in teacher gradebooks and on the end of term report cards. So if we want that to show up, then you need to mark that so it shows up in grade books and on report cards. Step 5 is optional. You can utilize the appropriate optional tools to further define your course according to your school's needs. That would be weight. Excuse me. Nope, I jumped ahead there. You're looking now at weight and alternative course information. The weight is the number of credits the course is worth, used in GPA calculation and credit toward graduation. Sometimes I think people get that a little bit confused. Weight equals credit number. So we try to explain it. Don't overthink it. Just break it. And, it's the number of credits they're going to get. Alternative course ID and name. This is alternative identification, often used for dual credit college courses. So not probably very many in high school will even use that, and none in elementary.
Yeah.
So, all right. So grad credit starts in grade. So we've got a drop down there. It identifies when students completing the course start earning credit toward graduation. Typically that's 9th grade. However, there might be a few that would be 8th grade. If you've got 8th graders taking algebra, something like that.
Yeah.
Counts in GPA. This is a checkbox for specifying whether or not a course should count in the student's GPA. Most of them do as you get upper level. PE did not for us. There are a few outliers like that. Cumulative start in grade. So that's a drop-down list that specifies the grade level at which the course begins counting toward a student's cumulative GPA. So when do you want that credit to start accumulating? The include in teacher conference schedules. This is a checkbox for including or excluding a course from the teacher conference scheduler in JMC family. So if you want that course, that teacher to show up in terms of being able to schedule with them through the teacher conference scheduler, you need to have that checked.
Yeah, and I think that's the default too. Like when you start creating a course, that is automatically checked. So if you don't want it included, remember to uncheck that box.
Right. Grade scale drop-down list used to specify whether the course will use the regular, raised, or lowered scale for calculating GPAs as listed on the grading utilities edit grade values page. And then the block length, a period duration for a course used in modified block scheduling situations. So typically your courses are one block, but sometimes you need to adjust those. We had to adjust them sometimes for those concurrent enrollment, those college level classes that we had. Sometimes those would meet for 2 or 3 periods, that block. So not very often do you have to change it. The honor roll, this is a checkbox for including or excluding a course from honor roll calculations. The required status, this is a drop-down list for prioritizing the course when using the scheduling aid to assist with master schedule building. So is this course required? Is it not required? Flag students who repeat. This is a checkbox for identifying students who have registered for a course they have taken in a previous term or year. Now, sometimes that's okay. I think of band, I think of choir, that it will just flag them and say, hey, they've taken this course before, but that's okay. I mean, it doesn't prevent them from being scheduled. It's just kind of a warning to you, kind of a little, just heads up, hey, they've already taken this course. Then you click the save button to update your basic course information. So once you've added all those things, make sure you save it. So let's go ahead and take a live look at updating or adding a course.
So we're in that same general area where we're looking at our course data list, schedules, course, and this time we'll head to edit course data.
Right. All right, so just kind of those things we were talking about. Rachel, let's go ahead and let's just look at one of those kindergarten classes that we have assigned to you. Rachel's my kindergarten teacher here for one of the sections. So on here, the course is yearly semester. It's marked as that. It's kind of grayed out because that means it's kind of locked in. We've got students enrolled in it now. So we're not going to be able to use it unless we do the change course term over there, the quick link. And we don't really want to do that very often if we don't have to. So a kindergarten course, elementary courses, there's no weight on there. They're not worth credit, so we don't have that. It's a regular grading scale. We've got that it's going on the report card. The graduate credit starting in grade, we don't need to worry about that because there's no credit accumulating for kindergarten courses just yet. We do have that. It is marked for teacher conference scheduler. So we've just got that basic information included for this elementary course. Anything on the elementary that I'm missing there, Rachel?
No, I mean, you did a good job of reminding people that when it comes to that course name, it is a really good
Right.
idea to keep that teacher's name alongside it. Even if you're a small school and you just have one section, one classroom of kindergarten, well, what if you add on in the future? If you're able to open up another classroom, it makes scheduling so much easier when you have that teacher's name associated with the courses that they're teaching.
And that's why we would leave some of those extra spaces like we saw in our course data list, because we could go back and add some more courses, either for the teacher that we're working on there, or we could create a new section. So give yourself some room so that you can expand as needed. Let's just look, Rachel, at like English 9 for a minute, if we could, please. Just something different. And notice she started typing there so we could just get to it quickly. English 1, I guess. And I'm used to calling them different things. Ours was 9. So a high school course looks a little different. We've got yearly semester again. We have a weight. So when it's yearly semester, that's saying that the weight is saying they will get 2 credits taking that course for a year. We just had a question come up about that this morning. That is your total. So each semester they get 1 credit. The grading scale is regular. Notice on here we've got an honor roll. High school has honor roll, so that's marked down there. 9th grade is when the graduate credit starts, counts in their GPA, and that cumulative credit will start in 9th grade also. So we're just saying some different things here now. In 9th grade, they're going to start getting the credit for these courses. It's included in teacher conference scheduler. We're flagging students who repeat it. So a few different things to just, again, set us up for success in the future in the scheduling process. Anything I missed there, Rachel?
I don't think so. And we're going to get into some of these additional details maybe in a moment.
Okay. I know it's hard for me to just hold up a little bit.
I know.
Wait until we get there.
We get ahead of ourselves.
I know we do.
All right. So next we're going to talk about choosing the right grading scheme for your course. Selecting grading schemes for courses, whether creating a new course or updating an existing one, JMC makes it easy to select a grading scheme that aligns with your course's term or your school's terms. Simply find or create the course, click the grading schemes tab, and choose the appropriate option to give teachers access to gradebook tools and ensure report cards include the required terms. To add a grading scheme to a course, head to Schedules, Course, Edit Course Data in JMC Office. Step 1, enter a course name or number in the Find field to update the selected course's grading scheme. Step 2, click the Grading Schemes tab to view a list of the available grading schemes associated with the term type listed for the selected course. Step 3, place a checkmark in the exam required checkbox to require an exam grade for the course if your school includes semester or trimester exams on report cards. And step 4, select the appropriate grading scheme from the available options to determine which end-of-term grades will appear on course grade report cards. Fun fact, courses with a grading scheme set to not set will not appear in teacher gradebooks or on the course grade report cards. Step 5, click the Save button to apply the grading scheme to the course or navigate a way to discard any changes. So we'll take a look here at choosing the right grading scheme for your course. And we'll just take a look maybe at this course we already have up. So one thing to keep in mind when you're looking at your grading schemes is also your term type. So what you had here, if it was yearly semester, well, that kind of gives you a hint for how you want to be grading those courses. But it's up to you. You can have, maybe a sem year type of a grade with a yearly semester, or maybe you plan to send out report cards at the end of each quarter, and maybe you want to do at the end of each quarter and semester and a year-long grade. So this takes a little bit of thinking and probably some discussion in order to keep it consistent across all of your courses. But it really just comes down to how often are you going to be sending out report cards, and you want that to be reflected here in your grading scheme.
Rachel, would you click on the exam required too? Because then that adds a whole new, gives you a lot more options then as well.
Yes.
So just kind of thinking, are we going to say you have to give a semester test? Are we going to say you have to, do a test at the end of the quarter? So just thinking about those things as well.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that I'm missing, Amy, talking about those grading
I don't
schemes?
think so. No, setting those up. I mean, like you said, just thinking through how you want that to look. I feel like sometimes that's a little bit hard for people in terms of what they expect and what they think it's going to give them, what kind of information.
Yeah.
Because even if you do semester, year, which is what my school ended. No, my school went to semester. They still did a midterm grade, which took the place of first quarter and third quarter. So just thinking about what you want that grading to look like.
Yeah. All right, and here we are, Amy. We got there, adding the sections to the courses.
Did.
All right, after general course data has been entered and saved on the Edit Course Data page, use the Sections tab to add important details to your courses. Create class sections, including the term, period, days in session, and teacher to define how the course fits within your master schedule. Entering information on this tab will allow you to accurately build a master schedule, schedule students into appropriate course sections, and get on with the learning. So here, again, we're going to head to Schedules, Course, Edit Course Data to get started adding those sections. Step 1, enter a course name or number in the Find field. So again, you just want to find the course that you're working with. Step 2, click the Sections tab to begin editing section data. Step 3, click the Add Section link to add a new section, or click the Edit link to edit an existing section. Fun fact, a section represents a classroom of students. Adding a section allows you to assign a term, period, teacher, room number, and meeting days for a course. Step 4, select the specific term for the course section from the term drop-down list to indicate the term in which the section will meet. Step 5, select a period from the period drop-down list to define when the section will meet within the master schedule. And step 6, place a check mark in the corresponding days checkboxes to indicate each day or days the course section meets. Helpful tip, if you are scheduling elementary classes, uncheck the days to avoid scheduling conflicts that prevent students from being scheduled into courses. Step 7, select the teacher of the course section from the teacher drop-down list to enable the class in JMC Teacher. Select a room from the room drop-down list to indicate the classroom where the section plans to meet. Step 9, select the bell schedule from the bell schedule drop-down list to indicate which bell schedule the course will be using. A fun fact, the number of students enrolled and scheduled will appear at the end of the entry once the scheduling process has been completed. So you get these numbers down here. The first set of numbers is the number of students enrolled in the specific section, and then the second is the total number of students enrolled in the course. Helpful tip, hover over the number to see a list of enrolled students, or click the number to see a printable class list for the section. Step 10, click the update link to save your changes, or the cancel link to discard them. And it looks like my X moved a little bit on me, but we got a helpful tip here. You can click the delete link to remove a section from the selected course if you accidentally created an extra section or no longer need an old section. So we'll take a live look at adding sections to the courses, and this is where I'm going to rely on Amy because she knows a lot about how to set things up in terms of making sure you have the right constraints. Okay, so we'll stick with this English 9 or English 1 course. I'm going to head to the Sections tab, and I'll hit Edit here. And Amy, if you want to walk us through what we're looking at.
Sure. Okay, so the first column, we're talking about the term. Which term are we offering this course? So on here, we've got 2 sections of English 1, first semester, and we've got 2 sections, second semester. So we've balanced that out. That's why we're seeing 4 different sections. We've done the scheduling process. So this course is set up. So it's saying that it's happening in period 3 and it's happening in period 4 for first semester. That third number, that section number, that's just assigned by JMC. So you don't need to do anything with that. We don't have the option to change it, as you can see. And then this class in particular meets every day. You know, typically your classes probably are going to be marked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, except for things like PE, I think about in elementary. We'll go to an elementary class. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll go look at an elementary in a minute. We've got the teacher's name here. We've got the room number. The bell schedule is optional. You know, we set it up that way. You don't need to. It's just an optional thing. So then this is saying that first number, there are 10 students scheduled in this section, and there are, how many it's under that number
23.
there? 23 total for this course. So we've got 10 in the first section, 10 in the second. So we've got a couple students maybe floating around out there still that are not scheduled, but that's okay. So we can make our changes there and we can set those sections up. So we've chosen, like I said, the semester, the period, the days of the week, teacher, room. And that's why we talked about setting up your teachers and your room numbers, because now we've got these drop downs and we can pick. The people are listed there and the rooms are listed there. So that work we did in the front end is helping us now. So let's look at an elementary. Yeah. Okay, so here it looks a little different. And as Rachel talked about in there, again, we've got a first semester and a second semester. We're going to have our ELA class, just one each semester, because we are working with a homeroom here. We said, or we're going to schedule the period the same for all of our elementary classes. So when we train people on how to set up their elementary courses, we say just mark everything period 1 and then uncheck your days of the week. So we're not adding any extra information there that might cause any, make it a little more complicated. Just everything is period 1. Uncheck those days. And again, then we do our teacher name, our room number, can do the bell schedule if we wished. So.
And in those elementary grade levels too, I always found this really helpful. I could quickly see, okay, do I have all my kids accounted for? And then if you click, you can get that printable class list, which is super handy.
Has that always been the case, Rachel?
I don't think so. I think I just learned that as I was reading that
I just feel like I learned it the other day because I clicked on that number and was like, wow, that is really handy, because I used to go print lists. So I love that.
Yes, absolutely.
Always making things easier and just sneaking that in. Things you didn't even know you needed in your life.
All right. Was there anything else that we needed to add on this page, Amy?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, so now we're kind of getting into the meat and potatoes. So we've got the courses set up, and now we're going to show you 3 ways to schedule students into courses. So I'll go through the first step. I'll go through the really easy one, Amy, and then I'll give you the tougher ones.
Okay.
So first step is scheduling an individual student. When you need detailed control over a student's schedule, add or edit courses and corresponding scheduling details in JMC Office to build just what the student needs. The Edit Schedules page allows you to view all courses, sections, and periods available to a student and to add or edit the student's schedule accordingly. So to get started, we can start building or reviewing an individual student schedule. Head to Schedule, Student, Edit Schedules. So Schedule, Student, Edit Schedules. Step 1, enter a student's name or ID in the Find field to select the student to register. Helpful tip, select a term from the Display Term drop-down list to filter which courses are currently viewable on the page. Step 2, select a course from the course drop-down list to add a course to the student's schedule. Helpful tip, if you click the Add Courses button, click the Select link from the pop-up to add the course to the student's schedule. Click the OK button to confirm, or click the Close button to discard the change. Step 3, select a class section from the section drop-down list if you want to move the student into a different class section. Helpful tip, select a locking option from the Lock drop-down list to ensure the student stays in the selected course section when using the JMC scheduling aid to balance class sizes. Step 4, select the Save button to click the Save button to save the changes you've made to the student schedule while on this page. Step 5, click the Print button to print the selected student schedule. In step 6, you can place a check mark in the checkbox to the right of the course name and click the Delete Courses button to remove a course from the student schedule. Helpful tip, need to delete multiple courses, place a check mark in the checkboxes of multiple courses on the student schedule to select the courses to be deleted, or place a check mark in the checkbox at the top of the column to select all courses. So right up here, you can select all the courses if you wanted to clear out a schedule completely. Fun fact, if a red circle appears next to a course name, the student has taken that course in a previous term. Click the circle to see when the student previously enrolled in the selected course. So we'll take a live look here at scheduling an individual student. All right, so we go to Schedules, Student, Edit Schedules. Oh no, and I've got an error on my page. Oh, maybe try that one more time. I'm going to maybe just go back a year and see if that's my issue. Okay. It looks like I've got an error there. One other thing. Amy, what do you think?
Hmm. If you will you try refreshing on this page?
Give
Maybe
it a
we
shot.
can. No? Okay. They must be working on our databases again right now.
So I can maybe come through. I don't know if it'll still. It's going to take me to the
See.
same page. Ugh, I thought I could be sneaky and get there in another
I
spot.
know. I thought it was really clever there.
All right. Well, we can maybe come back to that. Let's look at the other ways.
Right.
We'll come back and see if we've cleared out our error here. But yes, this usually means that our development team is working on a page.
You're coming up with one of those new things that just surprises me.
I
One of
know.
those things I didn't know I needed.
That great class list, yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, we'll come back to it. Hopefully we can. All right. So we'll talk about scheduling multiple students into course sections now. So we first step was scheduling a single student. So now we'll talk about scheduling multiple students into course sections. JMC Office offers a straightforward process for scheduling students into specific course sections, which can save time and effort for users. Rather than scheduling each student into multiple courses, schedule several students at once into a single course section. By clicking a student's name, administrators or front office professionals can quickly add them to their selected course section, streamlining the schedule process. So to schedule students by section, log into JMC Office, go to Schedules, Develop, and then Schedule by Section. Step 1, select a course to be scheduled from the course drop-down list to begin scheduling students into a course. And step 2, select the specific section from the section drop-down list to begin scheduling students into the section. That's a lot of S's.
Yes.
Step 3, select all students or a specific grade level from the grade drop-down list to narrow the range of available students. So you can narrow that down for yourself. Click the name of the student from the available students list to add the student to the current students list. Fun fact, after a student is added to the current students list, the student will have 2 capital X's next to their name to visually identify them as being in the course section. Helpful tip, accidentally add the wrong student, no problem. Simply click on a selected student's name from the available students list to remove them from the current students list. Click the Save button to save the added student to the course section, or click the Revert to Original button to discard the scheduling changes made. So you can do either one of those. Step 6, click the OK button in the pop-up window when prompted to confirm your changes, or click the Cancel button to discard them. All right, so we'll take a live look at scheduling multiple students into course sections. So we are going to go to Schedules and Develop, and we are going to schedule by section.
There we go.
All right, great. So let's go back to our English 1 class, if we could, Rachel. Of course, I'm going to make you scroll. We could do anything. All right, so English 1A. Let's go ahead and pick our section so we can see what we have for sections here. We have just one each semester. So notice on there it says S1 or S2 on our drop down, that section. Just got to look at those a little carefully because we've had, people have gotten the wrong one there. So just make sure you check the semester. And then let's go ahead and pick our 9th graders. So we can narrow it down. We know that typically our 9th graders are in that section, or that course, I mean. So that's how we can add them. So looking at this, those kids all have double X's. I don't know how else to explain that. Next to their names. They are on the current students list. So they're over there kind of in gray. So I'm looking at that and I see that Lewis Cameron and Parker Schott have not been scheduled yet in that course. Should they be there? Should they not? So I can easily look down that list and see who maybe was missed. So it just gives you a way to schedule more students, enroll more students in those courses at a time. So going by section.
I can go ahead and add them.
Yeah. So then we can save that and we'll change the course schedule. And I think sometimes those pop-ups come up and people get a little concerned about them, like, oh, it's telling me it's like I shouldn't be doing that. It's just making sure that you know what you're doing, just making sure you're aware. But I know of people that have been like, oh, no, there's a message, I shouldn't do that. So then they don't. It's just another way to make sure you're aware.
Yes. I am guilty of that pop-up panic. It comes up, I'm like,
Oh,
ah,
yeah.
what did I do? Oh, wait, that's okay.
Right, exactly.
Is this what you
It's
meant
just
to
like,
do?
are you
It is.
sure? Yeah, I'm sure. So yes, but it talked about too, if you want to revert to original, that's that option down there. We can do that, and then that undoes what we've done. So just a way to get more students scheduled quicker.
All right. And then we've got one more method we're going to explain.
Yeah.
Amy, do you want to walk through?
We got our speed method here. We're going to bulk load students into courses and sections. So we're just building. We've done the one student. Now we've done a group of them. Now we're going to just bulk load and add a whole bunch of kids at a time. Manually scheduling students one by one can be a time-consuming and tedious process. On the bulk load courses page in JMC Office, administrators can efficiently load entire grade levels, advisor groups, or random student sets into courses, significantly reducing the number of clicks and expediting the scheduling process. So you're going to go to Schedules, Develop Bulk Load Courses to get started bulk loading courses with students. Step 1, select one or multiple courses from the Select Courses box to specify the list of courses you'd like to load with students. This helpful tip, I think, is always super helpful, and I sometimes forget it. To select multiple courses, hold down the Control key if you're using a Windows computer, Command key if you're using a Mac while clicking a course. Deselect a course or courses from the list by holding down the Control key on Windows and Command key on Mac while clicking a course. So you can have multiple courses at one time. Step 2, click the corresponding radio button to select a group of students to bulk load into the course. So you can do this by grade, an entire grade level of students, by advisor, students assigned to a specific home advisor or homeroom teacher, or you can do it randomly, as individually selected students. So 3 options in terms of how you bulk load. Step 3, you're going to click the load button to load the selected group of students into the selected course or courses. Fun fact, upon loading students, a message will appear indicating the number of records that have been adjusted to let you know that your bulk load has been successfully completed. So you get that little success message there at the end. Right. So we'll also talk about bulk schedule students into sections. Now that you've created courses, loaded them with students, and manually scheduled students with special circumstances, it's time to schedule the remaining students into the appropriate sections for their registered courses. The Schedule Students page streamlines the scheduling process and saves time by scheduling grade levels or all students at once. Simply select the time frame and the group of students to place into sections, specify any necessary criteria, and let JMC take care of the rest. So we'll live look a couple things here that kind of threw me a little. We'll talk about bulk loading them, and then we'll talk about bulk scheduling them. To let JMC bulk schedule students into course sections, log into JMC Office, go to Schedules, Develop, and Schedule Students. So step 1, select a radio button from the Students box to narrow the range of students by scheduling by grade or by selected students. So you're going to either choose to do it by the grade or select your students. Step 2, select a radio button from the time frame box to schedule students for the entire year or for a specific term. Helpful tip, since the Schedule Students feature can balance class loads across semesters, we recommend doing your master schedule for the entire year. Just a good idea to see the whole big picture, so just schedule those students for the full year. Step 3, place a checkmark in the following checkboxes to apply the criteria when bulk scheduling students into sections. So year courses prefer the same period all year. That keeps students in the same period all year long for courses that happen for the full year. Require quarters of same course to be back to back. So if a student is in 2 or 3 quarters of a course, it schedules the student into quarter 1, period 2, quarter 2. I'm reading these wrong, Rachel. Help me figure this out. I don't want to do it wrong.
So quarter 1 or 2, quarter 3, 4, quarter 3. 1, 2, 3, or I see. So you would take it either quarter 1 and 2 or quarter 2 and 3. So you wouldn't be taking the course quarter 1 and quarter 4. There would be continuity. Yes.
Thank you. I got in and saw all those numbers and panicked.
It was like the pop-up for me.
I know. Yes. Yikes. Okay. Require 4 quarters of the same course to be back to back, the same period in the teacher. So schedule the student into quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, selecting sections taught by the same teacher and in the same period all year. So trying to keep as much consistency as you can, requiring 4 quarters of the same course to be back to back in the same period, scheduling the students into quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, selecting sections in the same period all year. Require trimesters of the same course to be different terms. So if a student is in 2 or 3 trimesters of the same course, schedule them into 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 or 1, 2, 3. So making sure there's some consistency there. Save any existing grade data. In the rare times where letter grades exist for a student before rescheduling, preserve those grades after rescheduling. And balance by gender. Schedule students into sections with the best possible gender balance. So then scheduling students in the course sections, step 4, click the process button to begin scheduling students into classes. Step 5, click the OK button in the pop-up to proceed with scheduling your students, or click the cancel button to return to the previous page. Fun fact, status messages will display below the process button as the scheduling tool is working to keep you informed of its progress. Step 6, click the OK button in the pop-up. There's another pop-up there. After the scheduling is complete, to return to the Schedule Students page. Step 7, click the print button to print the results of the scheduling process. Helpful tip, have you accidentally scheduled students into courses? Head to the Drop Courses page to remove students from all sections of a selected course. All right, so let's look at bulk loading students into courses, and then we will look at bulk scheduling.
Okay.
So we are schedules, develop, and bulk load courses. All right, so Rachel, you did, let's go ahead and look at, should we do, we're in the last year.
That's fine.
Years.
So that seems not quite right.
That. Okay.
Should we
it's so much easier now.
Stick with 6th grade, or maybe we can pick something like 5th that's all together? Or...
Yeah, let's do 5th Lindbergh.
5th Lindbergh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So this is why we've got our courses set up like this now. So we've got everything that Lindbergh teaches all together. And that is a 5th grade. So Rachel clicked on all of those. She's got them all highlighted. They're on the selected courses list over there. So we are going to do this by grade, and we'll pick our 5th graders over there.
Not to contradict you, Amy, but the other thing is here, when you have all those advisors listed on the course name, you can also just come in then by advisor, and you know it's Lindbergh, and so you'd be assigning all of those, all the students assigned to Mrs.
Right.
Lindbergh.
Yep. I see now why I didn't want to do that. Thank you very much. You know, it's trial and error sometimes.
Yes. But this is a good thing to bring up, though, is that I'm not sure that Mrs. Lindbergh, because we assigned Amy as advisor, so this will only assign students that are her advisees. So we'll give it a shot and see if we've done our setup correctly.
I think we did. I hope so.
So we have 0. Okay, so to fix that, I would just go to attendance, staff, teachers, and this is where we had to assign advisees. So now I can come in and say 5th grade. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then Mrs. Lindbergh.
I just weren't set up this far yet. Yep.
So here we go.
We're giving her some kids.
Yep. Now we're going to have some luck. So now that is set up, I'm going to head back to where I was. Schedules, develop, bulk load courses. We'll give it another shot here. We'll head to 5th grade.
Lindbergh. Gotta hold on it.
I do, you're right. Now I was getting myself confused. I forgot my command button. Thank you. There we go. And now by advisor. And so this is why we started with those setup steps. You want to make sure that you have that done in the right order. Here we go. And now
it's magic.
Yes. So 17 students, 6 courses. Now they're loaded into the course. So that's that bulk loading by course. And now we're going to move into bulk scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
So
Amy
here-
was right too. I mean, we could have done that by grade, and I could have picked all the fifth graders that way.
Sure. Yeah, it would have just been a longer.
Yeah. Okay.
And that would be something that you would do. Say you're working on a high school course, English. We'll go back to English 1 again. All of our ninth graders take that, so we could do it by grade, and we could load them that way. If there are students that don't take that, maybe they're in a remedial course or something, then we just can manually remove them. It's easier to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are times when you would do that. Sometimes you would do random. I mean, there are the 3 options there because there are different circumstances for all sorts of things.
But I think you're right on the money there, Amy, is that typically in those elementary settings, you're probably going to assign students by advisor because
Right.
those students are assigned to their advisors. You've already kind of set up who's going to be in which teacher's classroom. So then you come in here and then you load them by the teacher. But when it comes to those high school courses, then you're going to probably be loading by grade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we've got them bulk loaded into the course. We're going to do schedules, develop, and then schedule students. Is that in the right spot? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Okay.
So we can schedule students here by grade, and we can should we stick with fifth grade again?
Let's do that. Yep.
Okay. So Amy, as you were reading through that list of like how you can set up
Right.
like kind of changes, do you have any advice for what you should or which ones you maybe really want to check, or which ones you would maybe like to leave a little bit more open? How did that work for you?
Quite honestly, I never checked any of them.
Yeah.
Because it just, each thing that you check kind of limits the way that you can schedule. And, okay, there a lot of them are about quarters, and people don't do a ton of quarter courses necessarily. Balanced by genders, maybe if you have a concern about that. But you can also tweak that on your own, like, because we all know there are those kids that shouldn't be in classes together. So sometimes we just go and manually do that. So quite honestly, I did not mark any of them.
Yeah, that was going to be my advice too, but I have to run it by the expert first.
No.
But yes,
so much of it, and I tell everybody I talk to about scheduling, everybody goes at it a little differently. Everybody has their own personal beliefs, but the more you limit it, the more challenging it can be, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit process here. Are we sure we want to schedule students? Yes. And here is this little bar that you get that kind of shows you the progress as it's going. So scheduling is complete. Okay, there we go. It's done. Our fifth graders are now not just loaded into the course, but also scheduled into those sections. So I know we said it in the slide, but the thing that I think is really helpful when I think about scheduling is once they're scheduled into sections, that's like a student in a desk in a classroom. Now they're there. They're not just in the course, they're scheduled into those sections.
Rachel, let's go ahead and even go to a fifth grader now.
Sure.
Just for fun, to see if we did it, and cross our fingers we did. I'm sorry, to their schedule.
To their I don't know if I'll be able to get to that page again. Okay.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe
yes,
not.
I went around.
Hopefully, what we would see is our fifth graders would have those 5 courses each semester. So ideally, then that's what that will look like. First semester, they'd have 5 courses. Second semester, they'd have 5 courses.
Yes.
The ones that we bulk loaded them into.
Yes.
All right. I just had to go ahead and point that out again, didn't I?
That's okay. Okay, so next we're going to talk about finalizing your schedule with some helpful reports. So we've set up our courses. Actually, we kind of set up our school, then we set up our courses, then we scheduled students into their courses and then their sections. And now we're going to look at how we put some of those finishing touches on the schedule using the reports that we have here in JMC. So first we have creating a class list. Printed class lists are a valuable quick reference tool and a lifesaver when access to JMC Office or JMC Teacher isn't available. Use them to support substitute teachers without JMC access, include student photos for easy identification, or keep copies in emergency bags for quick attendance at rally points. Even when the internet is down, JMC's printed class lists with grades and comments help you stay prepared for anything. To quickly print class lists from JMC Office, head to Schedules, Course, Class List. Step 1, select a term type from the drop-down list, then choose the corresponding radio button for the term you want to use in your class list. Step 2, select the appropriate radio button to indicate which courses to include in your class list. So you can choose by sequential, so you give a course range, like the numbers of the courses, a range to and from. Random courses, you can select one or more individual courses, or you can print your class list by teacher. Step 3, select a specific class period or all class periods from the period drop-down list to define the periods included in your class list. Step 4 is optional. You can place a check mark in the appropriate checkboxes to include additional details on the class list. So you can include grade verification, a record of any existing letter grades for each student, include student photos. So if you want to have those pictures next to the students' names for, like in the instance of a substitute, include race and ethnicity, as a record of each student's race and ethnicity is included on that class list. Step 5, select the appropriate radio button from the order by box to sort the class list. So you can sort it by course name, course number, period and course name, or teacher, period and course name. So lots of options. Step 6, click the preview button to view the students on the selected class list. And step 7, click the print button to print the class list for future reference or distribution, or you can click the export button, which will export it to a CSV file. So we can take a live look here at creating class lists. Okay. So I'm going to head to Schedules, and now I can never quite remember where I'm going. Course and class list. I did it.
You did it.
So again, if I want the class list for the whole year, or I can just choose a particular semester. So by sequential, I could look at course numbers 2 to 693, or I could choose one particular course, or what's probably most common is I could go by teacher. So if I want to include all these extra details, I can, or I can exclude them. And do I want to look teacher, period, and course name? Maybe I want to go by course name, and I'll hit preview. And I can see kindergarten, ELA, Mrs. Cox. I can see all of my students here. Oh, I've got half-day preschool in there. I'm not sure where that one's coming from. And then, so period 1, all throughout. And then I've got social studies. I can see the students there, and so on and so forth. So all of my classes for this particular teacher, then I've got the course list here, which I can print. I can export it to a CSV, or whatever it is that I would need to do with that. All right. Anything else you want to add about course lists or class lists? Sorry.
You know, I'm looking at the period option there, and that I feel like is relatively new, and I could see a lot of value in that. You know, if you're trying to figure out, okay, where are all these kids during 7th period? Because I need to round them up. You could do like all of your 7th period classes. You could. So I think that's pretty cool up there under how you under by sequential course, random course, drop down up there, and there's one up above too where you can filter it. Right there, the period.
Here, this one?
Nope, up a little higher, under by sequential course, by
here.
random.
I see it now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, that is handy.
Like I used to need to know what classes, what's going on around 5th hour, like lunch. Where are they all? So we could split up. We want to do an A lunch group, a B lunch group. So let's look at, so I think that's real handy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
I was just going to make you hunt for it.
Well, you were giving me good instructions. I was just like, where am I? Where am I? All right. So the next report we have is to view a list of advisors and their assigned students. The advisor list in JMC Office offers a quick, organized view of all students assigned to an advisor or homeroom teacher. Customize it with details like locker numbers or bus routes, making it a versatile tool for any situation. Whether in the hallway, at the bus stop, or in the class, the advisor list keeps key student information readily accessible. So to create that advisor list, you head to Attendance, Staff, Advisor List. Step 1, place a check mark in the checkbox next to one or more teachers to include them and their assigned advisees in your advisor list. Step 2, select the student details like locker or bus number by placing a check mark in the checkbox next to each data element you want to include in your list. Fun fact, the student ID, grade, and gender fields are pre-selected by default but can be removed from the report depending on your preference. Step 3, click the preview button to view a list of the advisees assigned to each selected advisor. Step 4, click the print button to print a hard copy of your advisor list, or click the export button to save your list as a CSV file. So we'll take a live look here at those advisor lists. So this is another benefit of taking the time at the beginning when we were setting up those like building settings. If you assign people to those, or if you assign students to their advisors, then you can utilize this list as well. So I'm at attendance, staff, advisor list. And it's super handy. I can choose multiple advisors, or if I just want all the students assigned to Mrs. Cox, again, student ID, grade, and gender are automatically selected. But say I want to also have a birthday in there, so I've got a easy birthday list, and I want maybe the bus number so I know which buses my kids are getting on at the end of the school day. So a lot of information that you can include here. And then if I hit preview, now I can see all of the students assigned to this advisor. I can see their grade, gender, and I can see their birthday. So a lot of really helpful information here. Anything you want to add to that, Amy?
No, I was just going to say the same thing you did, that there's a lot of helpful information there. And you can really customize those lists so they have exactly what you want on them.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll look at a couple more reports here. We have the course, you can review course enrollment with the course tally report. Amy, would you like to talk about the course tally report?
Sure. JMC's Course Tally Report is an excellent tool for identifying potential scheduling issues before assigning students to sections. Easily view courses for all terms, the total number of registered students, and the average number of students per section, helping you avoid overloading a particular section. Additionally, you can see a breakdown of student distribution by gender and by grade level, allowing you to ensure an optimal balance of students in each section. So you're going to go in JMC Office to Schedules, Course Tally to create your Course Tally report. Step 1, select the By Number or By Name radio button from the Sort Courses box to arrange the courses listed in the report. Step 2, optional. You can do this or don't have to. Place the check marks in the split male or female checkbox to view a gender breakdown of students registered for the listed course. Step 3, click the preview button to preview the report. Fun fact, the report displays the course name and number, the total students registered for the course, the number of students registered in each grade level, the number of sections, the average enrollment per section, and the terms that the course is offered, all on one screen. Step 4, click print to print the report, or export to export the report data to a CSV file.
All right.
So let's take a look at that.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to head to Schedules, Course Tally. So we can sort the courses by number. I'll go ahead and do that and hit the preview.
So kind of just what we said, it's going to talk about the number of students. That total is how many students are enrolled in that class. So for those kindergarten courses, the only students we have enrolled in there are grade 0, kindergarten. So if we saw that there was a 1 under the number 4, like the top is the grades. So grade 0, grade 1, 2, 3. So if we had 1 floating around over there under 4th grade, then we would know we have a scheduling issue there that we would need to look at. Talks about the number of sections. We've got 1 section for each of those. That's that column over there towards the right. The average number of students in that section is 16, and it's a year-long term. So kind of just summarizes what we have happening there. As we get farther down, I was trying to see if any of those have multiple grade levels in them. I don't think they do. Does it look like it? Some of your classes in high school band, it doesn't show any enrolled right now, but you would have students in 9, 10, 11, and 12 down there for courses like that. So you don't have to be quite as worried at your secondary courses if you've got multiple grade levels in there, but you want to check those with your elementary courses.
And this is another place that we could have come, Amy, to make sure that our fifth grade students were scheduled. We can see here that our scheduling did work. Here they are.
Yeah.
We've got 34 students registered into each of those fifth grade classes.
So we did it.
We did it.
Yay.
All right. Then, actually, before we wrap this up, I just maybe want to take just a very quick moment here to go back to that course data list that we started with. And now that we've done a little bit of scheduling, if I come here just to course data list, this time if we include only the courses with enrolled students, if I go ahead and hit preview, now this is another way to do that double check. Like, okay, I scheduled my kindergarten students. I can come here and be like, yep, okay, I've got kindergarten students scheduled.
Right.
You know, same thing with your fourth and fifth, it looks like, and then a few of our high school classes. But if I come in here and look at my course name and number expanded, I can see a little bit more information here. And then this would be another place where we could look at the course schedule information. And again, we can see we've got 8 students scheduled, 8 students loaded into the course. Here we've got that English one that we'd looked at before. We know that we got 20 students 20 students scheduled, but 23 students. So again, like Amy was saying, we've got 3 students that are kind of floating around. We might need to see why they're not scheduled into a section, you know, if there was a conflict or whatever that was. But once you have been doing a little bit of scheduling, coming back to this course data list, this is a really helpful tool to look at if your scheduling process is on the right track.
Right. Just another way to check yourself and kind of make sure that you're, like you said, Rachel, to kind of make sure you're on the right track, and just another method.
Yeah. All right, and then I think that's it, Amy. I think we covered the scheduling basics.
I think we did.
All right, so on behalf of myself and Amy, thank you so much for attending this training, and thank you for choosing JMC.